Hey guys, what's up? This is Brett, and welcome to this week's episode of Friday on the Turntable. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new album from Future Islands. This is Singles. Future Islands, three-piece synthpop electronic band out of Baltimore, Maryland. This is their fourth album and their first one on the world-famous 4AD label, once home to such great bands as Bauhaus, Pixies, Cocteau Twins, Dead Can Dance, Birthday Party, and more recently The National and even Scott Walker. If you only have a minute to watch here, I'm just going to go right out in front and say we're a third of the way through 2014, and Singles is by far my favorite album of the year so far. Lots of great things to come, but as of right now, this has gotten the most play out of anything. It hasn't left the turntable, and since the vinyl edition comes with a download code, it's been on my iPod, been playing in the car, and then seeing them this past Sunday live in Phoenix even solidified the album's importance even more. This was produced by Chris Cody. He's worked with Beach House. He produced Teen Dream. He's also worked with Yuck, I think, on their last album. He's worked with Marissa Nadler, TV on the Radio, and many, many other contemporary artists. So if I had to describe the sound to you quickly, if you've never heard them, somewhere in the realm of a band like German electronic from the 70s, maybe a little bit of Kraftwerk, a little bit of Neu, and then a tiny bit of New Order. And then you got the vocals, which are just a really smooth performance, somewhere the realm of a soulful singer, someone like an Al Green, but then his vocals can go, as displayed in Fall From Grace, can go from very smooth to immediately just this scream, death metal-y, Tom Waits-ish growl. And it's even more present in their live performance. Speaking of, we have to mention this right off the bat. If you caught their performance on David Letterman of the song Seasons, outstanding. If you didn't see it, I'm going to have a link down below to my blog where you can purchase the album as well as check out that video. Outstanding. Just truly, in my memory, one of the best performances on late night TV that I've seen in many, many years. So let's talk about Seasons, the opening track. I'm going to show you the 7-inch single for it that I picked up at their show on Sunday. So it has the opening track, Seasons, and then it has a non-album B-side called One Day, also on the 4AD label. I'll show you the vinyl version really quickly while I have you here. So the back cover, track listing, credits. There's the inner sleeve with the band photo, and you have all the lyrics on the back, and 180 gram pressing on a pinkish 4AD label there. 3 favorite songs: A Song for Our Grandfathers, Sun in the Morning, and Seasons. But with that being said, from beginning to end, tracks 1 through 10, totally solid. The album has a great sense of cohesion, sonically, melodically, thematically, which makes me think of the album has a sense, for me, I feel a real sense of nostalgia. Childhood, reflections on where you grew up. Now, I grew up in Chicago, and I left in my early teenage years, and I know the band is from lives in Baltimore now, but grew up in North Carolina. So there's a sense of reflecting back on where you're from, and perhaps simpler times when things were better than they are now, or in the present. Lost friendships, relationships, and even the loss of loved ones. And I think it really comes through in songs like Back in the Tall Grass and Song for Our Grandfathers. Great lyrics on that one, by the way. Another song worth mentioning, Doves. Just a great bass and drum groove on that one. And you have Spirit, Back in the Tall Grass, and I better stop because I'm just going to end up mentioning the rest of the songs. So this past Sunday, I got to see the band. They came through Phoenix. I saw them at Crescent Ballroom. It was sold out. Tickets were only $12, which is, in this day and age, is a great price. They didn't move it to a bigger venue, which I really appreciated. So it was a nice, intimate setting. And I have to say that they were one of the most unpretentious bands that I've ever seen. The singer, Sam, all throughout the night, he was walking around through the crowd, talking to people, and right before showtime, he was sitting actually down right next to me on the bench talking to a group of people, friends of his, hanging out, and then right when it was time for them to play, he quickly ran around back, went in the back room, and came out all within a couple minutes, and he was on the stage then just that type of kind of unity with the crowd, I guess you could say. Live performance, one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. 100% commitment to the performance from beginning to end. No dead spots in the set, just passionate, sincere, and as weird as it sounds, his stage presence and the way he performs, although you might laugh at this, but it reminds me a bit of Perry Farrell in his prime, from Jane's Addiction, mid 80s through the early 90s, and just that kind of, I don't want to say reckless, but just that giving your all to the crowd, and the body movements, and just feeling the music, and the in-between banter between songs. There was just a whole feeling of it just being like you were seeing something really important going on. And so I really appreciate that. Here's my ticket stub for that show. And oh, I have to mention this as well, because I cannot mention this guy. Now, there was a couple bands on tour with them. The one I really want to mention and recommend to you guys also is Ed Schrader's Music Beat. This is the album Jazz Mind. Now, these guys came out. I had no idea what was going on. There was a setup of two guys on the stage. There was a drum microphone, and then all of a sudden the guy took off his hoodie or whatever he was wearing, and it just was immediately blown away by these guys. Ed Schrader is the vocalist, and he also plays standing up drums a la Mo Tucker from the Velvet Underground. And the bass player, who I found out later was a replacement, it was actually Future Island's sound guy, because the other guy had some family situation, he had to fly back home. So the guy filling in was the sound man, which you would have never known because his bass performance was just exquisite. Really complex parts, dramatic, intense. And the songs go from, it just started off with just a blast, and it was just these pounding rhythms, crazy frenzy going on in the bass, and then the vocals going from like a Johnny Rotten, just this constant stream. The songs are really short, and then all of a sudden the song would stop, and then it would go into this, there'd be a new song starts up that's really slow, sounds like somewhere between, I don't know, The Doors and Joy Division, and just a great vocal performance going from the screaming. It was such an interesting contrast. So I have to mention them. So highly recommend this as well. I'll put a link to this. Ed Schrader's Music Beat. This is Jazz Mind. Really, really cool. All right, guys, that wraps it up. Future Islands, singles, definitely buy it. You heard me. Favorite album of the year so far of 2014. Get it.